Okay, but before we go ahead and clean the mesh, what we're going to do is that we're going to create the bottom of the table. So for that, let me go to the perspective view. And before I do that, let me just select this particular edge in here. And actually, I believe we have soft selection on here by mistake. See ya. So now let's just simply grab here, delete this, and bridge this up. And now we cap this in here. So I did this because I'm going to be making an extrude later on, and well, you will see what I mean here. Let's just going to grab the vertices and push them up. Just like that. I believe that is okay. Maybe too much. Higher. No, that is okay. That is fine. So in here, we're going to grab these edges, connect them, and what I want with this is that I'm going to select this polygon and extrude it. But at this point, let me do something actually. Let me get these edges and move them just a little bit more, because I don't want that too thick in there. So I'm going to extrude that up by hitting E. Again, what I mentioned is that I don't know if you remember, I mentioned this, that the Edit Poly modifier has a bunch of useful hotkeys applied to it. So the E is the extrude command, and that is a very cool. I like that I can actually access those commands very quickly. The editable poly doesn't have that, and that's why I usually do not convert it right away. So right now I'm just simply going to extrude this one out, and yeah, let's just do this. And the thing is that I'm as you can see, I'm not making the shape as the standard pool tables that you see around. I'm actually trying to be a little bit more stylish. It's good to be different from time to time. Just creating something. Let's create something that it is a little bit different this time, no? So let's just connect this, and this time I'm gonna select the box in here, the dialog, so I can put two of them, and I'm gonna pinch them a little bit together, and then slide them where I believe it's gonna be a good place. Let me see. Here's okay. And I'm doing this because the cool part is that I'm going to connect. Actually, let's do it simply. Delete these two polygons here, and I'm just simply going to bridge them. And then I'm going to apply a bend modifier to this particular bridging here. And before I continue, let me put some, not twist, I want some segments here. I'm going to put around 10 segments. I believe that is okay. And as you can see, we have the basic shape for our table. And this is the cool part. It doesn't have to be like the normal tables that we see all the time. So with this, I believe I'm going to be okay with this here. Let me try something up. Let me see something. Yes. So this is interesting. We just created this with 10 segments. And if you hit number 4 on your keyboard, with that selected, you will get the selection already on. So after you have this, I want to apply the bend modifier just to this part. So it is good to have it selected, and I go to parametric deformers and select the bend modifier and apply. Let me go ahead and apply an angle of, let me see that. Yeah, 15 is okay. Minus 15 is okay in this case, and right now it looks a little bit deforming the other part of that I don't need to be deformed, but it is okay right now. Let me see that. Yeah, I'm going to actually straighten that out in a few minutes. Let me just simply go ahead, and on top of this in here, I'm just going to apply an edit poly modifier, and that is cool because now I'm going to apply. Now this whole thing, including the bend, it is another poly. So that's why I like to work in stack and make sure that I have everything done before I actually convert this to an editable poly. So right now, let me just simply select the edges of this particular poly modifier here, and all these edges in here. And actually, well, yeah, let's do them by part. We just select the scale button, the scale tool actually, not button, and just simply scale on the Z axis. And as you can see, it simply make this particular line straight, and we're going to do the same on this side. So we just select all of these edges in here, and then we scale on the Z axis. Very simple way to, you know, do this kind of work. As well as this particular tool, actually you have to get one at a time, and by doing this I'm just simply making it straight, as well as this one here. So right now we have a decent looking thing in here, and this particular edging here, I'm just going to move it out a little bit, up and out. I believe that is going to give me more or less what I need. This one then goes down and to the side, inwards. Actually, not down. Let me just simply put it inwards. I believe that is okay. So basically, we have our shape in here. Let me see something. Actually, let me go ahead. Let me see something. Yeah, exactly. I can move this up, and let me try to. Let me see something. Let me put it in front view, no? Because in some ways I have a little bit of deformation here, so I'm just gonna grab this two in here, of them inwards, as well as these two in here. I'm gonna move them outwards. I believe that is fixing more or less the problem. And if I was in front, let me go to the back, do the same thing. Here we are. Okay, so we have basically what we need, more or less. Well, I don't have to spend much time on that, so let's just simply go ahead and leave it that way. Let's go to perspective view, and as you can see, we have a very nice looking shape in there. And actually, when you turn on the modifiers, the symmetry modifiers, you will see that it indeed looks a little bit cool, no? So in this case, I believe I'm happy with that. And right now we're going to concentrate and making a few things. Let's just simply go ahead here and inset. Let's go to edit poly, edit poly, I said, and let's select these three guns and inset them a little bit. What happens is that I'm going to be making this particular border that you're seeing in here. I'm going to make it with a different color than the actual wood that we're going to put on the table. So it is cool to have this border here. We're going to clean those end guns very shortly, and let me just simply apply this up and select this particular polygon in here and hit OK as well. I just wanted to inset them up because I'm going to be working with the vertices, and I just want to have a little bit more control on that. Let me see. Okay, so before we continue, let's select all vertices. Actually, in number one, select all of them, select the weld button, and let me make sure that I do not actually destroy this in there. This is something, and as you can see, even though I just have 1.01, there are some unwelded vertices around, so it is good that I do that, because you can have a little bit of issues by not having the vertices weld, and that is good to do it from time to time. So now that we have that, let's start cleaning. And this is something I would like to mention. It is this particular part, it is not 100% necessary in this particular video, because what happens is that this particular model, I'm not intending to apply any parametric deformer, subdivision modifier, like for example mesh smooth or turbo smooth. So in general, I do not really need to be 100%, having quads and stuff like that, or tries. But what happens is that it is a very good habit to keep cleaning your mesh, because someday you might need to put a parametric deformer, and just because you're not used to clean the mesh, you will find a lot of issues actually doing it quickly. So in general, it is good to actually do it even though you don't need it. In this case, this particular model is just for quick render, so it is not 100% needed. I believe we don't have a facing here. Let me see. Oh yeah, we do. But in general, this particular part in here, I'm going to delete all those polygons, so it is not needed. I don't have to clean that up. So in here, let me go ahead and clean this up in here. Before we continue, let me do something here, because as you can see, we have this kind of weird edge in here. So what I'm gonna do to fix that is to grab this and chamfer it with a very high amount. A lot of segments. No, not 35, maybe 30 is okay. And let me check. We're having a small issue here. Cancel. Let me see something. Maybe by selecting that one. Yes, you see? That is something that you have to keep in mind. If you have a corner, well, I showed it before. If you have an edge that is actually facing directly to an edge that you want to chamfer, what you're going to create is actually a triangular shape instead of the roundness that you're looking for. So you have to be very aware of those things, because sometimes you will see that the chamfer command is not actually working as intended, and it might be just because of that. So let me see if I can get away with half the polygons in there. Let me see if 10 might do it as well. Let me see. Yeah, I believe that is okay. We don't need to have so many. Apply it. And after we applied it, what that does is that it's going to create a very interesting shape in here. You see this in here? So in general, I just wanted to clean that up before we continue, because we have to go ahead. Let me go to Vertex Mode and actually clean all this up, and including this particular vertices in here. So what I'm gonna do very quickly, and this is what I mean, if you haven't done it, if you don't do it very often, it is good that you do it, because for example, I want to clean all these vertices. I want to connect them with the middle one in here, and one quick way, very quick way to do it is just keep Control and Shift pressed, select one particular edge, one particular vertex, and just simply hit E. And then when you do this very often, you actually do it kind of fast. And actually, I don't want to clone that. Thank you. Now what happens is that in general, I am not sure if there's another way to do this. I haven't seen any tool in which you actually connect vertex very quickly, for example, to create triangles and stuff like that. But these have been working for me up to now, and it is good to, you know, get into the practice, because then when you are actually, when you do this very often, then it becomes a very simple task. That's why, even though we don't really need it in this particular case, I am actually doing the work of cleaning the mesh to make sure I actually, you know, you always find a new way to do it. So there you go, we have that cleaned up, and as well as in here on the top, we're gonna do that. So I'm gonna select the middle vertex here, and I'm going to just simply go ahead. Let me see that. Well, I just need to get the ones on the top, so what I'm going to do, exactly, this is better, is that I'm just simply going to do it this way. Hold on. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I did not actually indeed clone that. So, and now this particular one here, we can make a connection like this, or let's do it this way. Well, both ways, it is fine. Very good. So now let me go on the bottom here, select F3 to actually get into the wireframe mode, and let's just go ahead and do this very quickly. There you go. So, and we cleaned the most tedious ones. Those in there are very annoying to do, because you have to do it over and over again. You know, those things can become really annoying. So in general, in this particular case, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to connect this up. Let me see that. They actually have similar amounts of vertices actually, which are gonna make my job a little bit easier. But in this case, when I don't want this particular polygons to be too thin, then I just grab this in here and connect them to this one here. So, and this particular edge, I actually want to connect it not there, but let me see. Let me clean this up here. So, and then, you know what? Let me grab this one here and try to connect it with that. Let me see how that goes. Yeah, well, not bad. So, these two. Now, let me select that up again. And this one. There you go. So, right now, let me make sure that this is indeed, it only has 4 sides. Yes, it does. And yeah, most of those, actually all of them right now, are quads, and the others are actually triangles. So that is officially cleaned. Let's do the same with this particular working here. Let me see. What I'm going to do in this case, as we only have one side in here, I'm going to select as much as I can, maybe this up to here, connect them to here. Actually, let's just select 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe, no, that one I don't want it. So this join here, what we're gonna do is that we're gonna connect it to this particular corner here, And now let's make sure that this is actually a quad and this is actually looks like a triangle, right? Yes. So as you can see, we did a very nice, very quick cleaning in there. Now we're missing in here